Coming your way on today's Philadelphia Eagles now, could Jalen Hurts get a Patrick Mahomes-like contract extension? And then at the tail end of today's show, going to take a look at some bargain basement free agent targets. We know that the Birds are a little bit tight with the salary cap right now. Some players they could bring in who are very, very affordable. Let's begin with the aforementioned Jalen Hurts. Mike Sando of The Athletic predicting that Hurts will get a Patrick Mahomes-like deal. Now, before you start to panic, we're going to break this down, decipher it, and I'm going to explain why, even though the money could be really, really high and the year length could also be really long, don't panic. Because there are intricacies to this that could be team-friendly so that Jalen Hurts can get compensated, but also Philadelphia still going to be able to compete with a very good roster. So this was the deal that Patrick Mahomes signed back a couple of years ago with the Kansas City Chiefs. Brett Veach worked his magic with this deal, in my opinion, because right now Patrick Mahomes is actually a really good value deal for Kansas City because of what he's getting paid per year, and of course the value that he has as arguably the top quarterback in the NFL. Now, at the time, it was unheard of. This was a baseball player-like deal because of the length and the fact that it was nearly $500 million. That was unheard of for a lot of NFL players at the time. The total tallies: 10-year contract, $450 million, $45 million per year over those 10. Total guaranteed money, $141.5. Guaranteed at signing, $63 million. Now, the thing with the Patrick Mahomes contract was it was historic. It was record-breaking. It was massive at nearly $500 million. But because of the length of the contract, the money is spread out. So if Howie Roseman is able to sign Jalen Hurts to a deal, and I don't think it's going to be that level, but something like it, you might balk, you might panic at the year length and the dollar figures, but of course it all comes down to the guaranteed money and how we might be able to have these details in the contract, which makes it somewhat team-friendly if Jalen Hurts continues his ascent. Here's what Sando had to say about this, and this is why we're passing along the information here on Eagles Now. I'm Chase Senior. Thanks for joining us. Their offense drives them for Philadelphia, and I think that they will be fine despite losing some free agents, is what he's alluding to there. They have an extra first-round pick, and I think Hurts will do a Mahomes-type deal with good structure for the team. He seems to get it. And Jalen Hurts, if there's one thing about him that we know, he totally gets it. This dude is a baller. This guy has the unique ability to have his teammates rally around him. The fact that he's a flatliner in a pressure cooker of the city, always cool, calm, and collected, I think is really impressive to have those traits as a quarterback. And Howie Roseman with this contract extension, which is looming. It's in the near future. He's going to be able to work his magic because if you make it a long-term deal and you spread out the money, you can also backload that contract and have outs to avoid massive cap numbers. If he doesn't play all that well, you can get out of that contract like Philadelphia did with Carson Wentz. Everybody thought once they traded him away and all the guaranteed money that the Eagles still owed him, they were going to be screwed. Well, a couple years after trading him away, they were in the Super Bowl this year in Super Bowl 57. And what all of this allows you to do pretty much is avoid massive cap numbers to stack the team. Now, I did fail elementary algebra at Temple, but I love money. That's how I'm able to decipher this and break it down. As for what Hurts did last year, this is why he set himself up to get the bag. He took a step very reminiscent of what Josh Allen did with the Buffalo Bills. Started off his career, both of these players, with some potential, with some intrigue, with clear ability, but then there was that drastic and sizable jump from one year to the other. For Jalen Hurts, year 2 to year 3, whereas a rookie, he's completing in the neighborhood of 52% of his passes, and by year 3, nearly 67%, as you see here at 66.5. Threw for more than 3,700 yards. He had 35 total touchdowns and 8 total turnovers. I think that number is really important to point out because of how much the Eagles offense went through Jalen Hurts, how often he had the ball in his hands, how much he was asked to do, yet he was a really good decision maker and did put the ball in harm's way. Of course, in the Super Bowl, in classic Philadelphia fashion, his one fumble did go for a scoop and score. Also added 760 rushing yards. If Hurts can have and duplicate these numbers here in 2023, Eagles are once again going to be a massive, massive factor in the NFC. So predict it for me and place your bets. Do you think that Hurts per year will get under $40 million per year? O for over, U for under. If you're a betting man or a betting woman like myself, have some fun with it. And as you venture down into the comment section, please make sure you subscribe. Everything that we do is free, and we give you shows every single day. Breaking news, analysis, rumors, trade targets, draft targets, free agent targets. We literally do anything under the sun. So fly, Eagles, fly, go Birds, and subscribe. To those bargain free agents, this is what's coming up next. Could the Eagles be in on a guy like Jarvis Landry, who we've talked about a couple of times? Dalton Risner or Rock Ya-Sin? T for Temple U. Type TU down in the comments section if you're listening closely and you're about the cherry and white. Before we get to those affordable contracts and free agents, today's show is sponsored by Fume. Get 10% off the Journey Pack at tryfume.com/chatsports. Now, if you're looking into Fume, are you tired of struggling with bad habits? Cold turkey might be great for sandwiches, and for me, I love avocado with that turkey. But there's a better way to break free from those pesky habits, and it doesn't involve weird mind voodoo or other bizarre tactics. Introducing our sponsor, Fume, an innovative, award-nominated device that helps you kick bad habits to the curb by focusing on the good parts. Fume is all about embracing the natural. It's not electronic, and instead of vapor, Fume uses flavored air. Best of all, free of harmful chemicals and packed with delicious, all-natural flavors. The adjustable airflow and movable parts and magnets make it perfect for fidgeting, which can also help alleviate stress and anxiety while you break your habit. I wasn't sure what to expect, but I was pleasantly surprised by the taste, feel, and look of Fume. Breaking a bad habit, it can be tough, but with Fume, it's easy, enjoyable, and even fun. And with over 100,000 customers, it continues to have success stories. No reason why you cannot be next. The flavors here for Fume, it does include white cranberry, maple pepper, as well as crisp mint. And you take a look at the adjustable airflow dial. This is the product right here. 3 unique flavors in the Journey Pack. So one more time, that's TRYFUM. Tryfume.com/chatsports. 10% off the Journey Pack. Link is hanging out in the comment section and in the description of this video. Now to some of these bargain basement free agents. I came across this article on Eagles Today, the Fan Nation Sports Illustrated page, and I thought it was pretty interesting just because of a couple of the players that they talked about here for Philadelphia. And we spent a lot of time over the last couple of weeks and months talking about Jarvis Landry as an upgrade at wide receiver 3 over a guy like Quez Watkins. So spend a couple of minutes talking about Jarvis Landry, then we'll pivot to Dalton Risner, then we'll shift gears to Rock Ya-Sin. For Landry, could come at a very affordable price because he was injured last year. His production has decreased over the last couple of seasons and didn't have a great campaign. But as a slot receiver, possession receiver, who seems to find some of those holes in the defense to sit down in that soft zone coverage on a critical third down, catch a pass, move the chains, keep a drive going, he does offer you some value. Now, last year, 25 catches, 272 yards, average yards per catch, 10.9, 1 touchdown. A lot of quarterback instability with New Orleans, and for Jarvis Landry, injury instability. But this is a player who would obviously come to Philadelphia, who's accomplished a lot throughout his NFL career. Some of the numbers that he's been able to put up, I mean, he went to 5 straight Pro Bowls with the Miami Dolphins as well as with the Cleveland Browns. 2018, 976 yards. 2019, 1,100 yards. That's the last time he had more than 1,000 yards in a season. And then after that, 840 and 570 consecutively in 2020 as well as in 2021. If you're paying this dude like $1 million, like, why not? You know what I mean? It's chump change on your NFL salary cap for a player who, if he stays healthy and plays well, can add you something on that roster and push Quez Watkins at least a little bit. And if he doesn't, hey, cut him. He doesn't make the 53. You didn't give him all that much money either. Allows him a chance to seek an opportunity elsewhere if he's not able to chase a championship with the Philadelphia Eagles. As for Dalton Risner, this could simply come down to whether or not the Eagles address guard or offensive line in the first round. I love the thought of taking Bijan Robinson at number 10, and that's coming from a guy who doesn't take running backs in the first round. That's not my team-building philosophy. So I would think about it, but I think Philadelphia goes to a position that they really, really value. Edge rusher, defensive tackle, offensive guard, offensive tackle. But if they don't go offensive guard or offensive tackle, or an offensive tackle who can be a swing player and play offensive guard as well as offensive tackle, could they look to a guy like Dalton Risner, who last year, 15 games played, 3 sacks allowed, and maybe you bring him in as a depth option / fringe starter, depending on the development of Cam Jurgens at a new position at right guard, even though Nick Sirianni said he played a lot of guard throughout practice last year. Here's what Fan Nation had to say about Risner. The Eagles are likely to take an offensive lineman early in the draft, perhaps even at number 10, and it would probably be a player who has tackle guard versatility, literally mimicking what I just said here. There would be no harm, however, in adding Risner to compete with Cam Jurgens, Jack Driscoll, and a rookie draft pick to be the starting right guard. Former second-round pick of the Broncos in 2019 has started 62 games at guard. Since that time, he is just 27 years old. So the value here, and I do believe that Philadelphia does like Jack Driscoll, and that's another guy who has swing versatile ability, is that, you know, if you bring in a guy like Dalton Risner, he has a lot of experience in this league, can fill in at right guard, can fill in at left guard too, if an injury does happen to a player like Landon Dickerson. Lastly, Rock Ya-Sin, T for Temple U. Shout out to you, the cherry and the white. Although some of the crime that's happening on that campus is really, really sad right now. Hopefully everybody is able to stay healthy on that campus, man. It's a beautiful campus, but my goodness. Anyway, sidetracked. Rock Ya-Sin. I get emotional talking about my former school, man. So Rock Ya-Sin, a player at Temple who had really, really good athleticism, and a player at the NFL level who has played well, but he has missed at least one game, and after his rookie campaign after that, multiple games every single year that he's been in the NFL. Ideal size, 5'11", 192 pounds. Last year, though, limited to just 11 games. Unfortunate for him, because I do believe he has some ability. 7 pass breakups, overall Pro Football Focus grade of 65.7, and a Pro Football Focus coverage grade of 65.8. Now, with the Eagles bringing in Greedy Williams, having Avonte Maddox, re-signing Darius Slay, bringing back James Bradbury, this would be a pure depth option. I do think that Philadelphia does like Zach McPherson, and for him heading into year 3, I think they want to see what he can do at least a little bit. But again, what's the common theme among these players? They've had some issues either with injuries, Jarvis Landry, Rock Ya-Sin. They've had issues with consistent play like a Dalton Risner, where there are reasons why they are still free agents up to this point. So with that, if you could sign one of these players, who would it be? Jarvis Landry, type 1, Dalton Risner, type 2, Rock Ya-Sin, type 3. Pretty good options here to fill out that roster with some veterans. And if you want to give me a follow on Twitter and Instagram at Chase_Senior, you see the handle down below. Go Birds, T for Temple U. We'll catch you next time here on the show. Don't forget to subscribe.